The town of Nakuru in Kenya, like in other big towns, many children are living on the streets fighting for survival. They come from very poor families, and many are orphans whose parents have died from diseases like HIV/AIDS. They grow up in a very chaotic and dangerous way without any parental guidance, love and care. Many of them die early because of sickness, accidents and violence. They even jump onto moving vehicles in order to search for anything they can take to satisfy their hunger. They are rejected and outcasts in society because of criminal tendencies and very bad behavior. They create disturbance and pose a threat to public safety. They grow up in a hostile environment of being constantly rejected and chased away. Running away and fighting for survival by all means is the daily routine of their childhood. They sniff petrol, glue, and other toxic substances in order to forget the hunger, the coldness, and the hopelessness. Begging for food is part of the daily struggle for survival. A regular meal and a safe place to sleep is not available for them. Many times they beg in vain. The constant inhaling of toxic substances destroys their health and their reasoning capacity. Babies born by street children grow up in street families. The mother is sniffing glue as she takes care of her baby. She has no home. Many times they sleep during daytime. They have no safe or secure resting place. Peaceful sleep is unknown to them. The garbage dump is their home. At least here they are not being chased away all the time. This is where they can find free food, clothing, and accommodation. The food from the garbage is unhygienic and poses a big health risk. Washing the food is a challenge. Half-rotten fruits found in the garbage are at times the only meal for the day. The permanent inhaling of toxic substances helps to forget the environment and the hunger. But over time, it destroys the lungs and damages the brain. Depending on waste and garbage for basic needs dehumanizes their childhood. The children are traumatized and end up in a state of frustration and hopelessness. When these children finally come to us here at International Children's Mission in Nakuru, they first need to be washed, shaved, and dressed. After a long time, the clothes which this boy was wearing day and night on the streets can now be washed. These clothes would have a long story to tell about life in the garbage dump. When finally the old dirt from the street life is washed away, we have enough reason to celebrate with a cup of tea and some bread. This boy is enjoying the meal very much because just yesterday life looked very different for him. After the meal, they can now explore the playground a totally new experience for the children who had come from the streets. A regular meal for lunch is something that this boy has never had for a long time. It will take a long time for him to forget the horror of the life in the garbage dump and for the wounds in the heart to heal.
I am Pastor Michael Nieswand, and I am taking care of street children and orphans in Kenya. I came to Kenya in 1983 as a missionary, a volunteer from Germany, and I was shocked at the large number of abandoned children and orphans on the streets of Nairobi and in other cities. I found them scavenging in the garbage dumps looking for food on the streets. It touched my heart that those orphans grow up without any parental love and care, and that many turn into criminals and even die on the streets as a result of violence or disease. Since no one was helping them, I prayed to God to help them, and with the help of the Lord, I started accommodating some of them in a rented room back in 1984 and sharing with them the little personal meals I had as a volunteer. In the most overwhelming episode I ever had in my life, I literally shared everything with them in their most wretched state. Later I realized that I could not continue sharing with them one single room, and I needed a place for them which they could call their own home. This came out of the realization that some of them needed medical attention from the wounds they incurred on the garbage dumps and during the street violence. In order to completely rehabilitate their lives and avoid the recycling back to the street garbage dumps, it became apparent to me that they needed some form of education, that they needed a permanent home. It's during that time that I, together with the street children, began to pray very heavily, and I asked the Lord to provide a home for them, since I knew that they belonged to the Lord. It is at that time, at that very time, that the Lord answered our prayers, when some well-wishers whom we had never known about, having witnessed how I was living with these children in dire need, appeared and offered to build for us a home. That home has since become an orphanage that is a rescue center for over 100 street children, so that no child in the garbage dumps of this nation may ever lack a place where to go or where to call home.
Here at International Children's Mission, the children finally can eat well in our own dining hall. They like fresh roasted maize. The children get quality education in our own primary school. Because of the small number of students in each class, our teachers can give individual attention to the students, which is very important for the rehabilitation process. After school, the boys help in the housework, like here, the cutting of firewood for our kitchen. In this way, the boys also learn to take responsibility. The cutting of grass is part of the routine work in the home. And the vegetable garden is very important for the daily meals. The children learn many skills and are busy with different activities, very different from what they did before. Feeding the calves, for example.